Hi, my name's Hippo and welcome back. This is the second video in my Contested Zone Guide series, and today we're diving headfirst into Checkmate. If you caught the first video, we've covered everything you needed to know before ever stepping into Contested Zone, how to gear up, what to bring, and where to find those crucial red key cards. Checkmate is where you'll secure comp boards 1, 2, and 3, but don't expect it to be easy. This zone is packed with NPCs, tight corridors, and more than a few nasty surprises. I'll show you the exact routes you need to take, point out danger zones and choke points, and highlight hidden secrets that can save your life, especially if you're running as a solo. In this video, we're going to mainly focus on getting the comp boards, but if you're interested in a looting guide video, let me know in the comments below. There are a few different ways to reach the first major room in Checkmate, and trust me, this is where you're most likely to face the heaviest resistance. Let's start with one of the most common routes. Head to Contested Zone Elevator 2. Take this elevator down. And you will encounter the first locked door, which you are going to need a fuse to open it. Now, a pro tip here is there are some times where the fuses cannot be inserted, and the way around that is you are going to drop a fuse looking opposite of the door, looking out from the door, and it'll perfectly orient the fuse for a quick rotation, and then you can insert it with your multi-tool. This tip has saved me a lot of time, and I've seen a lot of people struggle with putting fuses into the door through their multi-tool, so definitely keep an eye on that. Another bonus tip here is you can actually take the fuse out of the door after you placed it in. Not only will that shut the door, but it'll give you your fuse back. Once you're through, you'll enter the first major challenge area, the big central room where most of the action tends to go down. Another route you can take if you didn't bring a fuse in and you got to the door and you have no way through it because the fuse is not in the box, well, you can simply double back and find an elevator. Use this elevator to access contested door number 4, or the entrance for number 4. Exiting the elevator, you're going to follow this path here, which will eventually lead you to another fuse door, and hopefully some fuses along the way. There's also a third route. Back in the main lobby, if you want to go straight through contested door entrance 4 from the start, take the elevator there, and it will lead you down to the same fuse door mentioned above, eventually putting you right in that big room again. Now here's a crucial tip. If you enter through elevator 2, you'll actually end up at a prime ambush location for players coming in from door 4. So if you're holding that angle, you've got the upper hand. But if you're coming in blind from door 4, stay alert. I've seen fights break out in this exact spot more times than I can count. Now, a bonus tip here is if you enter through contested door 4, be very wary when you go through the fuse door, because in this area you can climb up above, and I've been ambushed from this very spot, which is how I found out about it. So keep an eye out for that, because that is something that you could use against other players, but can be used against you as well. As soon as you get into the big central room, you'll feel the tension shift. This is the first major choke point and the real test of your run. Multiple entry routes converge here, which means you're not just dealing with tough NPCs, but the very real threat of players pushing in from all sides. Cover is limited, sightlines are wide, and if you're solo, you'll need to play smart and fast. Whether you're holding it down or passing through, this room sets the tone for the rest of Checkmate. Survive here, and you're off to a great start. There are a few secrets about this room that I've learned over time, things you won't notice on your first run. I actually found a lot about this the hard way during a contested zone hardcore challenge I did with the legendary perks. We got absolutely wrecked in this very room by another squad, and I'll be honest, I just didn't know the layout well enough back then. Since then, I've learned every square inch of these zones. I've put in the hours, learned the angles, and picked up every trick, hidey hole, and the loot spot I could find, so you don't have to. And that's one of the coolest things about these contested zones. No matter how many times I run them, I still discover something new, whether it's a sneaky loot stash, a fresh flanking path, or a clever way to bait enemies. These places are brutal, but incredibly rewarding once you learn how they tick. In this room, there are a lot of secret areas. In fact, I would recommend taking some time to familiarize yourself with this room. But let me show you some of the really cool paths that will help you survive it. The first path is the recommended solo path that I like to take. You're going to sprint into this room, jump up into this vent, and then here, pause. Take a listen and see if you hear anything. If you don't hear anything, jump up into this vent through here, and you're going to find yourself right next to the red door. Now here's where I like to just wait and pause to see if I see anything or hear anything that might be a player or an NPC. If I do hear a player or something that sounds like an enemy, I'm actually going to show you another spot you can go. So jump over here and climb up this ladder. Now this is going to put you into the vent system overlooking the entire room. This is a great spot for people if you're looking to kind of give a lookout for a squad, or you're just trying to move around as a solo and assess the room. You can make your way through the vent here. And eventually it'll pop you out right here above the fuse door. Now I've used this very spot to ambush a lot of people. I've also been ambushed from this spot before as well. So it's definitely something you want to keep an eye on. Another note, if you are up in this vent system, you can drop down right here instead, and you will be on the stairs that lead up to the second story in the big room. You can use this to flank other people if you know that they're there, or just use it to get around. It is something definitely to keep in mind of. Another path in this room, like I said, this room is huge. Another path in this room that you can take is if you go back into this small room down here, instead of heading up into the vent system, you can actually go through this vent. Following this path, it'll actually take you out right here, and you can use this to flank a crew if you know they're at the fuse door. Just another way to get around. Now that we've covered some ambush spots and some secrets in this big room, if you brought a red key card with you, you'll notice the red door on the upper level. That path leads to comp board 1, but here's the catch. To collect all the comp boards behind that red door, you'll also need a blue key card. To get that blue key card, you want to head over to the fuse door on the lower level. Fight your way through some NPCs, hop over a broken door, and hang a right. In this next area, you'll find 2 blue keycard printers. Now, if you're solo, I highly recommend skipping the first one. It's right in the middle of a common fight zone, and the last thing you want to do is to be stuck printing while someone sneaks up behind you. I always push to the second printer. It's much safer for the solos and just a little further in. Once you got the blue key card, you now have a choice. If you brought a red key card, you can double back to the large central room and head through the red door to grab comp board 1. And with the blue card now in hand, you can keep it and pick up boards 2 and 3 as well. But what if you didn't bring a red key card? Good news is you can still use that blue key card to reach the end of Checkmate and collect boards 2 and 3. So even without a red card, your run is still worthwhile. Now I'm going to walk you through both paths. First, the red door. Head back to the large room and go up the stairs. You'll see the red door straight ahead. Swipe your key card and enter in. And remember, always close the key card doors behind you. It may buy you valuable time if someone's following your trail without a card. The nice part about the red route is it's a pretty straightforward path. You're going to find some NPCs that you're going to have to take out, but it is pretty easy to get to where comp board 1 is. I'm going to show a little bit of the route here and just kind of let you see the path that you take. Now, something that you want to keep in mind is you don't want to waste too much time getting to comp board 1 because players can be coming up behind you at any given notice. So you want to quickly clear out these NPCs and get through until you get to the final large room for the red route, which will have comp board 1. Now, this room is definitely another choke point. Lots of groups have stayed here waiting for the card to be ready to be printed. So when you enter this room, be ready. Not only is there a strong NPC presence, but if there is a group of players camping, they have all the advantage because the only way into this room is through this hallway. Now, I do want to show you the normal route that people take to get to comp board 1, just so that you are aware of it. But I'm also going to show you kind of a sneaky way, especially if you're solo, you're going to like this other path. But I just want to get you familiar with this room. So typically, this is the way people go to get to comp board 1. Now, I do want to show you a neat little path that you can take that will help you kind of progress through this room. On the right side, there's a tucked away vent route that gives you a sneaky flank right up onto comp board 1. It's one of my favorite spots for avoiding fights or catching enemies off guard. You're just going to head through this vent here. This part you're going to have to crawl through, so you're going to have to crawl. But this is going to drop you right above where comp board 1 is printed, and this is probably one of the best spots for you, especially if you are a solo, as it does give you all the advantage of an ambush if there are people camping comp board 1. Once you've secured board 1 and you've brought the blue card with you, you'll now be able to access the blue door nearby and push the back end of Checkmate to grab boards 2 and 3.
Access.
Before jumping into the final part of Checkmate, let's jump back to the blue route that you can take if you don't have a red key card. Back near where you found the blue printers, you'll see the first blue key card door. Swipe it and again close it behind you and push forward. Up ahead, there's going to be 2 more places to print a blue key card, just in case someone has been there ahead of you and has already printed one of the blue key cards. Now, before we go down this path, which is the way that you want to go to get to the final zone for Checkmate, there is a blue keycard printer over here through this door. You're going to head down this hallway, take out some NPCs, and you're going to find the blue keycard printer here. The location for the other blue keycard printer can be found over here. You're going to double back and head into a room where there is a lot of sand piles. Inside of this room, you're going to hang a left and head down some stairs. And you'll find another blue keycard printer. Great if you're running with a squad and need extras. Now, once you have this blue keycard, you have all of the things that you need to get through to the final zone. You're gonna head back up the stairs, hang a left, and go into this room. This is probably going to be the last big fight until you get to the final section of Checkmate. So take your time. There's going to be a lot of NPCs that spawn in here, especially heavily armed NPCs that can give you some tier 3, tier 2 injuries. So be careful, take your time, and clear them out. Eventually, once you've cleared it out, you're going to jump over this path and get to the blue door. Take your blue key card out, put it in, and progress through to the elevator, which will lead you to the final zone for Checkmate. The final section of the Checkmate contested zone can be brutal, but I'm going to show you one of the sneakiest ways to reach the last room without drawing any attention. Most players just sprint straight down this main hallway and end up getting shredded. But in the CZs, the element of surprise is your best weapon, especially if there's a squad already waiting for you in the final room. So here's what you're going to do instead. Instead of going down the main hallway, you're going to sneak down and take a right here. You're going to go through this vent access and pop out underneath the platform where the printers are printed. Now, instead of dropping all the way down, what you're going to do is you're going to go left right here and jump across this path. Run across the catwalk and jump down right here. You're then going to sneak through this vent access, and now you're right next to where comp boards 2 and 3 are printed. Quickly print the boards if the coast is clear and store them in your leg armor for safety, but don't drop your guard. Players can be in here, and it's easy to get caught off guard when you're waiting for the printers to get printed. So keep your eyes on a swivel, keep your head on a swivel, and look around and listen. Listening is one of your greatest assets in the CZ because players make a very unique noise, and it's different than an NPC. This is where you print board number 2, and to get board number 3, it's just on the other side of this room right here. So you're going to run this path, and it'll take you right to board number 3. For safekeeping, make sure to put the comp boards in your leg armor. One tip for this final room that has served me well: take time to explore this room if things feel safe. There are multiple flank routes and sneaky paths in and around the platforms. Some of my best PvP moments have come from unexpected angles, like this one right here. Most people won't be watching this path, which gives you a solid advantage. You can actually lunge right up here and vault up, and it puts you in a unique spot and gives you a little bit more of an advantage if you went around the stairs or the other pathway. And that's basically it for Checkmate. The final zone is a beast of a zone, and you can definitely find some armor. So if you do find the pyrotechnic boss armor, you can make sure to loot that up right there. It's definitely a high value item as well, so make sure to snag that. There's also components that you can get on the shelves over here, and you can put all of this down the back here during the freight elevator, down the freight elevator, and it'll store into the station's inventory. And that's a wrap up on our full walkthrough of the Checkmate contested zone. If you made it this far, you've now got a solid path to comp boards 1, 2, and 3, and hopefully a few tricks to survive the chaos along the way. If you discovered any hidden spots, alternative routes, or sneaky ambush tactics I didn't cover, drop them in the comments. I'd love to hear what you found and help other players out too. Also, make sure to subscribe for more in-depth content because we're just getting started. I've got full guides coming up or already live for Obituary, Rune Station, and even a deep dive into the executive hangars themselves. If you haven't seen it yet, be sure to check out the first video in this series where I break down how to prepare for these zones and where to find those crucial red key cards before you ever step inside. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.